Darkcast Network. Out of the shadows comes the best of indie podcasts.
Welcome to the J Squared Horror Podcast, where two lifelong horror fans talk all things horror. Pour yourself your favorite drink and hang out. Here are your hosts, Josh and Jake.
Hey guys, welcome to the J Squared Horror Podcast. My name's Josh.
And I'm Jake.
And on today's exciting New Year episode, what are we going to be discussing, Jake?
We are starting off 2024 with 2000's American Psycho.
Ooh.
Directed by Mary Herron. We also have a special guest here today, Hampton Roads' very own horror author, CII Jones.
Woo! Give it up for CII Jones, ladies and gentlemen. We're excited to have him on the show. Mr. Jones, thank you for coming on the podcast again,
Welcome
buddy.
back.
Happy to be here.
Thank you. But before we get into this exciting episode about American Psycho with Mr. CII Jones, what would we like to let anyone new to the podcast know?
As always, like and subscribe on YouTube.
Pretty, please.
Also find us on Spotify,
We're on there.
as well as Apple.
We are.
And as of this moment, in this year, still Google.
As far as we know, we're still on Google Podcasts.
Also Instagram, J Square Horror Podcast, link tree in the bio, new episodes every Thursday.
Every Thursday, two lifelong horror fans decide to get together and talk all things horror. We humbly consider ourselves the most original horror podcast out there because we are not information-based, we are communication-based. Like this episode is going to show you, we like to include our fans, even though they are local horror authors, in the conversation of all things horror. So if that excites you at all, stick along and check out this episode because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, what I'd like to mention in with that is we are available for request at www.jsquaredhorrorpodcast.com. If you go to our website, you can request to be on the episode live and in person, as you see here with Mr. Jones himself, or you can just request an episode idea. So if there's a movie that you've always wanted to hear us argue about or talk about, please go to the website and let us know so we can cover it in the new year. We would like to include as many fans as possible so that we can be true to our most original horror podcasting platform. What I'd also like to mention is we are a part of the Darkcast Network. They have been amazing for us in growing our podcasting platform through their podcast network of all things dark, strange, and unusual. So if you like other podcasts, go check out the Darkcast Network, and they have a plethora of podcasts for you to check out. Now, Mr. Jones, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you.
Of course. That's what we're here for.
Back.
Thank you for coming back. How's the authoring going?
It's going. Right now, got a pretty quiet year for 2024 lined up. I got a couple of conventions that I'll be selling books at, but not a lot of releases slated so far. My biggest release won't be really till the end of the year, so it's kind of chilling right now. Writing a lot, but not publishing a ton.
But you just had a Christmas release, right?
I did.
Okay.
It was called If God Said Oi. As essentially, think of like Dawn of the Dead happening during a Black Friday sale.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So make sure to go check out his website, which is
CIIJones.com.
go check out CIIJones.com. You can get a plethora of books through that website. I have a bunch of them. I haven't gotten the Christmas one yet. I kind of forgot it because I've been busy this Christmas season. I'll snag that one, but I have all of his other books. They're all great reads. If you like reading, if you like supporting local people, please go check out CIIJones.com. Now, heading into this episode about American Psycho, how does the room feel about this 2000s horror classic?
You can start. Go ahead. Go right ahead.
Well, it's weirdly, how you have like movies that you watch probably like once a year or like every other year.
Yeah.
It's probably like the darkest one of those for me. I probably watch that movie about once a year. The itch just gets there, and I'm like, I need to watch Patrick Bateman lose his mind and start killing people.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's wildly entertaining.
that's literally what he does throughout this entire film.
Yeah.
Jake, how do you feel about it, bud?
I like it. I enjoy it.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it a handful of times.
yeah. I was gonna ask, have you seen it a bunch or?
I mean, 3 or 4 times maybe. But
Okay.
every time I've seen it, I've always enjoyed it. So even watching it now, having the podcast, I don't like pick out different things or like see it differently or anything.
Yeah,
I still enjoy it the same way.
yeah. I feel like this movie is one of those ones that are kind of like some people definitely feel like there's like crazy deeper meanings in it, which maybe a horror author might be able to pick up on better than 2 podcasters.
Probably.
But I just watched it tonight, and I just like it for what it is. I don't have to dive into this movie super deeply about some like societal fucking hierarchy differences and shit like that, where it's just
Yeah.
like, I just like it because it's crazy.
I think that's one of the really great things about it is like you can enjoy it on that level, and it is like there's a lot of subtext and a lot that you can read into in the movie, the
Yeah.
book that it's adapted from as well. I mean, there's a lot to read into it, but on its base, both the book and the movie are just very entertaining to read or watch.
Yeah,
And it works on both of those levels.
So do you feel that, so you've read the book how many times?
Oh, I've only read it once.
Okay.
But it was probably just about a year ago that I read it for the
Okay.
first time.
Okay. So do you feel like Christian Bale and everybody in this movie do a good job of portraying this and for what you got, the book versus the movie, or do you feel like it could have been different or it's better in the movie versus the book?
So I'll start off with Christian Bale. He's perfectly casted in the,
Okay.
in
Okay.
this
Perfect.
movie. Like
Okay.
when I was reading the book, which I had already seen the movie by the
Yeah.
time I read the book, I couldn't not think of Christian Bale. He just matches the character perfectly. And that's because Christian Bale is kind of a psycho when it comes to acting.
Jesus
He's
Christ. Yes, he
full
is.
method. He's a lunatic, but very, very talented, and just absolutely nails that role. As far as like, I'm a book nerd, so I always am going to end up giving the edge to the book. The book's definitely better than the movie.
Okay.
But there's not a lot of disparity between the two. I love both of them. They both hit similar themes. I don't think that the movie leaves a lot out. The
Okay.
book definitely gets a bit more brutal than the movie,
Yeah.
especially in its depictions of violence, essay. I know we don't talk about that on this pod, but
Hey.
but it gets rough. It's definitely some harrowing stuff. But the movie does a decent job within the limits of what you can show in an R-rated movie.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you're comparing something versus a book, you can get away with a lot more in a book because it's not visual. You're using your brain to create the imagery that is being depicted in words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a prime example of that. I've heard numerous times that like the shit that happens in the book of it is like fucking bonkers
Yeah.
versus the movie. And there's like hints at it.
The conclusion of it, like the book, is something that you could never in a million years put on film without going to prison.
Yeah, exactly. So we need a book expert, if you will, to help us decipher that. If you want a even crazier version of American Psycho, go get the fucking book and read it because it's going to be insane.
Absolutely.
And what we get in the Hollywood version is pretty fucked up to begin with, which is cool and exciting. Jake, how do you feel, man? You know, we're big on actors, actresses portraying of things in different movies. And this is probably one of the biggest mainstream actors we have in a horror film from fucking 24 years ago. How do you feel that everybody does in this movie? Do you feel like anybody could have done it better? Do you feel like this was the perfect casting? How do you feel, man?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I know we found out that at first they wanted Leonardo DiCaprio to play Patrick Bateman.
Yeah.
And just thinking about that, at that time frame,
2000,
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
That's not
Just
too far
played, like,
from Titanic.
Jack a couple years earlier in
Yeah.
Titanic.
Yeah, dude, like in his fucking prime.
Yeah, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been the same to me.
No, dude, not at all. And like as good of an actor as Leonardo DiCaprio is, I just don't feel like he has this depth.
I love not Patrick. Oh,
I love Patrick Bateman. I
Christian
agree
Bale.
with him 100%.
just the look of his face
Yes.
and the vein in his forehead. He was perfect for this.
Yeah.
He can turn it on and off so easily.
Yeah.
And it shows very well, I feel like.
I feel like it too because I had a lot going on this weekend. So usually I watch the movie for the episode the night before.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because of plans and my cousin's birthday, and like I didn't get home till 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I had to work this morning. I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'll bust ass at work today. I'll watch it when I get home. And Jake came over during me watching it, which is fine. Like we didn't talk about it too much. But there was a couple moments where I just kind of chimed in with him, and I was like, dude, like he just, his face, like his acting of just like looking guilty constantly, especially across from William Dafoe, and like
looking so sweaty,
just so sweaty and so like stressed. And like I think there's like some story about like shooting this like multiple different ways, where it's like William Dafoe will shoot it an entire like process through being that thinking he's guilty or thinking he's completely innocent, and then they just cropped it in differently.
So it's 3 different ways.
Oh, 3 different ways.
One is thinking he didn't do it.
Okay.
One is thinking he did, but he can't prove it.
Yeah.
And the last one is knowing he did it and knowing he can prove it.
And the way they pulled this off in this movie is just iconic.
Yeah, because when that first interaction with them, when they were in his office, you can tell.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because from a viewer standpoint, you can't read Willem Dafoe's face.
No.
Because it's all the different takes.
Yeah.
You know?
He's like smiling super big, but like, is it like smiling because he's like cool with him? Or smiling because he's like, I got you, bitch?
So like, it starts like he doesn't obviously know anything. Then you kind of think he definitely knows. Then he might know.
Yeah.
Then it ends with, I don't know.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. And does that, all right, Caleb, you've read the book.
Yeah.
How does that scene, because me and Jake talked about this when we watched the movie together, that is one of the best scenes in cinema. Like just as far as actor v. actor go.
Like
does
the
that,
interrogation
scenes?
scenes?
The interrogation scene, especially in the office for the first time. Is that very well depicted in the book, or did the movie take that and go?
The movie kind of, that's one of the ways that the movie kind of actually, specifically Willem Dafoe's performance kind of improves on that part of the book, I think.
Okay.
Between the movie. I mean, he kind of, that character is not as well developed in the book, the detective. And Willem Dafoe kind of takes it and makes it his own thing in a way only that actor.
Only William Dafoe could do.
He's incredible.
He is one of the greatest actors ever. And it's crazy that he is then such a small role in this movie, but makes such a significant difference in this, because it adds this whole fucking questioning of what is this movie?
Oh, I think that his role is the whole hinge of tension in the entire movie. Without him, like, it would just be Patrick Bateman running around murdering people and losing his mind. Like, that's the driving force behind, him ultimately just absolutely losing it. The whole montage where he's running around the city trying to, feed cats into ATMs. And
it asked him to. It asked him to, though. It said, feed me a stray cat. And I'm like, well, shit. All right, I need my money.
That actually does happen in the book.
That happens in the book?
It's as funny in the book as it is. Yeah, there's like scenes in the book where he's just like, it's narrated the same as the movie. it's like a first person narration from his point of view.
Yeah.
And he'll just be like talking about like, his fancy suit that he's getting dry cleaned or whatever. And then he'll just be like, and then I saw like a flock of birds like landing in Central Park and I just had to scream and run after them. Like it actually makes his character sound way crazier than he already does in the movie. It's just a really fun but very dark read.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to keep saying that to just be like, I'm not making light of how insane this is or how disgusting
basically
it is.
Basically, what
is very
CII
entertaining.
Jones is saying is that you should read it to your kids for bedtime stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every night.
Read it to
Every
my daughter
night.
every
A
night.
chapter a night.
It's actually interesting to think of Leo being considered for that role, which I had no idea that was something that happened.
Yeah.
Which he kind of like essentially played the non-psychotic version of that in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
It's just like-
yeah.
I mean,
He was only one side of it.
yeah. It actually, like, thinking about it now, like, I've never really thought about that, but that would be like great, like, double billing to show American Psycho and then Wolf of Wall Street right after that, because the themes of American Psycho are kind of essentially saying, like, this is what, I won't get too political here, but this is what capitalism unchecked looks like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like to the point where like everything is a commodity here, including humans. And if you take out ones that people don't really care about, like the homeless or prostitutes, then you can
doesn't
just get away with
fucking
it
matter.
because they're just property like everything else.
They're scum of the earth.
Yeah.
And as long as you're bringing in and fitting the status quo, we don't give a shit what you do.
The scene in the movie, it happens in the book too, but the scene with the homeless guy where he's acting like he's going to help him out.
Yeah.
And he's just like, you smell like shit. And then ends up murdering him. It's just like one of the most, every time I watch it, it's like, I need to pause this and go take a shower. This is gross.
Yeah, it is. It's a very despicable movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit person.
He's a great person. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, sorry. Yeah, he's a piece of shit. Sorry.
I mean, he is.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and ask this now, because it's something that intrigues me as just as a human being, really. Me and Jake kind of jokingly mentioned this earlier, but let's go ahead and forget our conversation about this earlier. Caleb, if you were a single multi-millionaire, do you feel like, I'm not saying you have to go kill people, but like there are certain aspects of like, they say that like money brings out like the truest version of it. Do you feel like you have any of that kind of fucked up personality in you that if you knew you were untouchable, you would just fucking run with it? Or do you feel like you'd be like helping the community?
Oh, I'm not a crazy person. So
You don't have to be crazy.
You don't have to be crazy.
I would definitely be helping the community. I wouldn't be hurting people. That's for sure. I don't have it. It would feel unnatural for me to like go out of my way to cause people pain physically or emotionally. Honestly, like if you just like gave me enough money to retire on and like retire like generational wealth,
Yeah.
I would just be sitting around writing all day. Like I'm a very boring person.
Sitting around writing all day.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd just be trying to get books published still. And I would not be working 9 to 5.
You're
Jake?
a multi-millionaire.
Jake, let's just
Still
let's just
try to get
yeah,
books
no,
published.
you know
Yeah,
what? Let's
yeah,
just
okay.
let's just go.
Absolutely.
Let's go to you, Jake. How do you feel?
You're still with Wall Street.
Wall Street with
Charlie Sheen.
yeah, Charlie Sheen.
So I always think of Michael Douglas's character.
Yeah.
Was it Gordon Gekko?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
and as crazy as, I sell cars.
You do.
So the thought of the phrase like greed, like being good,
Yeah.
I can, in a certain aspect, relate to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because a certain aspect it is,
Yeah.
we don't do anything for charity. We're not going to work every day just to do it.
Yeah.
Throw it, my bad, guys.
Was that you?
That was me.
Okay. I thought it was me for a second.
No,
Yeah.
that was 100% me. So I feel like I would be more like that
Okay.
aspect. I don't think I'd be as bad as Patrick Bateman.
Okay. Are you just talking about the killing aspect, or are you talking about just him as a person? So I'm just saying, let's just separate.
I'm not even talking about the killing aspect.
So just him.
Seeing how he interacts with people who were, I guess, like a lower class than him, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
I wouldn't fuck with.
No, I completely agree with that.
Now, if there's like somebody I work with
Yeah.
who I can take out,
Yeah.
then I find out about it, help me advance,
Hey.
I'd probably do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm not killing homeless people.
Yeah,
or
I'm not
yelling
just-
at the people at the laundromat or anything.
but they couldn't get the cranberry out of his fucking sheets.
Well, if it was real cranberry, maybe they could have.
We don't know that for sure. It looked very blood-esque,
yeah.
but you know,
That's just blood.
it plays into the whole theory of this movie.
So you're saying that like business is business.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You can leave the you're able to be a little cutthroat.
Yeah.
In that environment,
Yeah.
not in like a literal cut of
'Cause
somebody's throat.
How I am, because how I am on the podcast, or you see me at the bar, and how I'm at work,
Two different people.
are 100%
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Like
Me-
at work, I am very. This is how it is.
Yeah.
I'm very stern.
Yeah.
I don't fuck around.
Yeah.
I'm totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, so I worked a sales job
Yeah.
prior to my current job. And I agree. Like, sales me is a whole different asshole. He is a piece of shit. I'll do whatever it takes to get the sale. I'll make up a family. I'll make up a school. I'll make up a situation. I will make up problems in my life that
Look,
don't exist.
It's sales.
It's sales.
Yeah.
Wall Street is sales. At the end of the day, all those guys are just super shitty salesmen that got put into positions of power, right? So as much as like I feel like I can relate to like business side of Patrick Bateman,
Oh boy.
you know, I just feel like sometimes it crosses my mind a time or two what it would be like to be of the upper echelon of human beings and to be able to get away with whatever the fuck I want to be able to get away with.
Yeah, but I don't think you treat people like shit. I don't think
I
you do
wouldn't
that.
walk up to a homeless black man
Yeah.
and be like, "You smell like shit," and kill him and fucking stomp out his dog.
Well, even not even the killing yes. I don't think you would just say that to anybody.
I wouldn't say that to anybody.
Yeah.
But kind of like what you were saying, if you're my op or if you're like in my way,
Hey,
whoa.
I kind of feel like I mean, so I'm not like this at all.
Let's go ahead and clarify.
I'm not like this at all in the workplace. I'm very much kind of. I've never worked sales really.
Sales is a brutal industry.
I'm very laid back in my job, and I have a very live and let live. I've got like some very structured things that I have to do in my job that I get hard nosed about. But for the most part, especially in terms of my coworkers, like I'm just like, hey, we can help each other here.
No, fuck you.
In a sales environment or like especially like a Wall Street environment.
Yeah.
Like I think that those people are all kind of signing up for that when they step into
Yes.
that world.
Yes.
And it's just like, I mean, I would not do well. I would not do well in a Wall Street environment. I would immediately have my back stabbed a million times.
I'm thriving.
Crush it.
I
I'm
would be
thriving.
I would be done.
No.
But
No.
would I be willing to stab people in the back if I was working in that world? Yeah, because they
That's how we want it.
well, that's what they signed up for. Like,
Yeah, it is.
You are.
but it would be difficult for me, and that's why I would eventually I would crash and burn
But
in that
the
world.
fucked up thing about sales is like, let's just give it like a super PG version, right? Your buddy needs some help, right? And you're like, all right, I'll help you. But I'm taking half of your commission in order to just talk to you on the phone to get you through it. That's how I was as a salesman.
Yeah.
Like, I worked different than car sales. I was in pest control. So if somebody's like, hey, Josh, I need help figuring out the pricing of this job, I'm like, that's cool. But I'm getting half of your money. If you sell this for $10,000, I'm getting $2,500 or I'm getting $500. I'm not showing up to just help you. You're taking time out of my money to help you. And that's what sales is. So like if you're off work and somebody comes in looking for you,
Yeah.
and they're like, hey, I was looking for Jake, and then they call you, you're like, yo, split that shit.
Yeah.
I put in 90% of this work,
Yeah.
and I'm still giving you 50% commission on that. Fine. I'm not there. Take it.
But also, it teaches that person a lesson.
It does.
To know
Absolutely.
this information I'm giving you
Yeah,
that has a price to it.
it does.
Unless you want to keep splitting it, you better fucking catch up and know what's
Figure it
going
out
on.
for yourself.
You,
Figure it out.
you have to.
Yeah.
You have to be on top of your game. Now, this is like fucking minuscule in comparison to what these guys are doing in this
Correct.
movie.
Yeah.
You know, they're just 80s absolute pieces of trash that are awesome at the same time because they look good. They fucking party hard.
One thing I will say about Patrick Bateman, his music taste,
His music taste,
I'm all about it.
unfucking matched, dude. His music taste is one of the best in all of movie cinema.
The book, like, will just randomly have a chapter where it's like him just randomly going over like that. I mean, they do like the full Huey Lewis.
Yeah.
Uh,
Fucking 4 is amazing.
monologue is in the book.
Yeah.
But he does that for like 4 different albums.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing because he does it for Whitney Houston. He does it for Huey Lewis in the News and some other one. Oh, Phil Collins.
Yeah.
He goes on the Phil Collins
right?
debate.
Yeah.
So he has at least 3 in the movie.
doing the Whitney Houston one, and his the lady that he's banging is just laughing at him. Like,
You listen to
"What
Whitney
you
Houston?
listen to Whitney Houston?"
You have a Whitney Houston CD? Yeah, bitch. That's why you died, because you were talking shit on my Whitney Houston. And I can relate to that because sometimes I'll put on some vinyl and the motherfucker won't be vibing with it. And I'm like, hey, first of all, if I had the power, I'm going to strangle you.
Suddenly they're asking why the Times is all over the floor.
Yeah, why are the times all over the floor?
I mean, I'm a big Huey Lewis the News fan.
Dude, I went
So I
out of my
enjoyed
way
that
to buy that on vinyl because I love that album so much.
4?
Yeah, I have it in the other room.
I mean, it's the sign off for you guys' show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Lucky Riggs create the
Although,
J squared version.
I agree
of
with him
Hip to Be
that-
Squared.
Sports is where they kind of came in their own kind of thing. But 4 is good too.
Okay, cool. We can get into that.
Okay.
We're all 90s babies. Let's talk about 80s music. That's
Okay.
cool.
It's not my fault. I mean, it was a good point he made. And I think, you know what?
I'm happy that that's the one good point you found for
Yeah,
Patrick
'cause
Bateman, and you weren't agreeing with a bunch of other stuff.
I'm just saying it's a good album.
Is that
Sports
his best point made in this movie?
That Sports is where they came in their own, 100%.
Okay.
You got I Want to Do Drugs on that album.
Here we go.
Bad is Bad is on that album.
Patrick Bateman Jr. over here.
That's a good album.
Me and
Yeah,
Caleb might be in trouble. He's doing the Patrick Bateman right now.
It's a good album, that's all I'm saying. Although, yeah, I think it was 83 for Sports, and a couple years later, 4 comes out. Good album, too.
Where's your rain jacket at? You about
What?
to stick
Yeah.
an axe in the back?
Are you just going to walk off and dance back on the camera with an axe and a rain jacket?
It's a good album, that's all I'm saying.
It is.
No, it
100%
is.
agree.
It is. It's just funny that this is literally
That's
Patrick
the
Bateman.
one
right
thing
now.
that stuck to me. Yep.
Yeah.
That he's 100% right on that.
All right, I'll give you that.
Okay.
All right. So let's see how everybody feels about this.
Part of Rock and Roll's on the album. It's on Sports. That's good, too.
He's
Okay.
still talking.
I'm sorry.
Huey Lewis in the News.
I almost saw him in concert one time.
What happened? Did Patrick take your tickets?
He canceled the concert.
Patrick?
I think he was going through the whole hearing thing he has going on now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he can't perform anymore.
I was like, son of a
very
bitch.
sad.
That is actually very sad because
That is sad.
he's very good.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, this is now the Huey Lewis in the News episode. I'm happy it didn't turn into the other episode.
I mean, since we're talking about it, so he did that little skit with Weird Al where he reenacts that scene with
yeah.
Oh, it's hilarious.
hilarious too.
Ice Nine Kills does their version.
We're talking about Huey Lewis right now,
No, because
No,
then you
Ice
went on
Nine
with
Kills.
Weird Al, bitch.
which included
So-
Huey Lewis, but that's fine. Go ahead.
Huey Lewis in the News obviously had to approve of this here song because they use a lot of his music. Ice Nine Kills does a great job with the whole scene remake in their song, is all I'm saying.
That's cool.
Fuck you, dude.
I'm just
Fuck
saying-
you,
I'm
dude.
just saying
You
that's
can't
cool.
sit here and talk about music for 3.5 minutes, and then the one time I chime in about something
I don't wanna
relatable for
fucking hear
me,
about it. Yeah, don't
yeah,
hear
you're like, shut the fuck up, dude. That's not how this works, bro.
It's either Huey Lewis or nothing.
It's no, fuck you. It is Huey Lewis in the news, man. You know what? Young Gravy does a song with fucking Huey Lewis in the news, I'm sure. So fuck you. First of all,
All right, so next topic you're talking about?
no, fuck you, man.
Weren't we
You
good?
know the Ice Nine Kill song is cool.
I'm not saying it wasn't.
Weren't we going to move on to Whitney Houston?
No,
I
fuck
mean,
Whitney
yeah,
Houston.
we can.
Fuck Whitney. I can't believe you have a Whitney Houston CD right now. All right. Fuck you, Jake. Won't let me put in my
Every
2
time
cents.
I'm on here, I just turn you guys against me.
Yeah, you do, man. It happens all the time. It's just more apparent when there's a third person
Yeah.
here between us. Because you just sit there like, oh?
When your brother was in here, you guys just ended up having to talk about eating each other's ass because you're talking about Human Centipede.
Well, we can't talk
It's
about eating
it's
your
a-
ass right now because we're not talking about Human
It's
Centipede.
impossible for you not
Although-
to turn on each other.
I mean, yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah. No ass eating on this here episode, everybody. All right. Fuck you both.
Oh, I think in
Oh,
the movie,
here he goes.
Don't look at it.
No, in the movie, he talks about booty eating.
Yeah,
Don't
Yep.
just look at it.
there you go.
Don't just look at
It's
it,
the best
eat
line.
it.
It's the best line in the entire movie.
It's a solid line in the movie. I will agree. He says, don't look at it, eat it.
Don't just look at it. Eat it.
All right.
I can't wait for my mom to listen to this episode.
Yeah, this went PG-13 to R real quick. All right, so the one, fuck you both. All right, y'all both did this.
Okay. Let's get back.
This,
on track.
I'm trying to host this fucking episode,
Go ahead.
and you guys are taking me on all sorts of paths. All right, let me host real quick. Let me do my job. Let me wrangle these boys in. All right, I want to get this out of the way now because it's early enough in the episode where I feel like we can get away with it and enough people will hear it. Caleb, let's start with you, then we'll go to Jake. Is this all a figment of his imagination, or did this all really happen?
I kind of the last time I watched the movie was right after I had finished reading the book.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back and watch it. I got into a huge argument with a friend. I think that it is all in his imagination. And the friend that I was talking to was just like, no, it's just the last little rampage that he goes through that's in his imagination. He did all of the other killing. And it's like, but the main person that they're concerned about him, that he's concerned about killing, is the Jared Leto character.
Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that turns out to be a complete fake. And that's like the one that he's so concerned is going to bust him and get him in trouble.
You feel like that's a complete fake because the lawyer mentioned that he saw him twice in London.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that whole scene at the very end is the indication that it's supposed to be fake. But I also think that it's written in a way and the movie is filmed in a way and structured in a way to be ambiguous to stir up conversations exactly like this.
All right, Jake, where do you stand?
I agree. I think it's all bullshit. It's all in his head.
Okay.
And I draw that from not only the ending,
Okay.
but the fact that no one knows his fucking name. No one knows who he is, besides his close group of people he works with and his
Yeah.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
They call him different names all the time.
In the book, the lawyer that he's talking to at
Yeah.
the end doesn't know that it's him.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the movie, it's the same way.
And in the movie or in the book, he's just like, oh yeah, that had to have been a joke. Patrick Bateman's like a huge pussy. He would never.
he
do
says
any
it
of that
in the
shit.
movie.
Oh, does
yeah, he says
Okay.
that exact line in the movie.
When he's talking to Paul Allen,
Yeah.
talking about how he's spineless and he's this and he's that. No one has no respect for this guy.
Yeah.
I'm saying the job he has could be real.
Yeah.
And the friend
absolutely.
group he has
Obviously,
probably
the
real.
3 or 4 friends he has is real.
I feel like the drawings, we just see the shit he drew like play out in his mind, I think.
Yeah.
okay.
I don't think it's anything,
I think that the indication at the end is that, like, because he is going to continue an unchecked life where he can, I mean, he's a master of the universe, like wealth wise,
Yeah.
like that eventually it's going to get to a snapping point where he is not going to have control of it
Yeah.
anymore. And he's going to eventually do those things. But up until that point, he has not done it. That's my interpretation.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that you guys both agree. on your interpretations of this here fine film and book. But I think he did it.
Of course you do.
Of course I do. And it's not just to be the opposing person here. I feel like the reason the lawyer says what he says is because he's trusted and knows that he'll get his client off with saying that he's seen him multiple times in London. It's not because he actually has. It's because he's that good of a wealthy white man's lawyer that he's going to clear his name regardless. And the only reason he's calling him a fake name is because he got that voicemail. He doesn't want to admit that he heard Patrick Bateman admitting to all this shit. So he's going to see him in person and be like, shut the fuck up. I've seen Paul outside of this place. You need to shut up and you need to go away, because he's that good at protecting his clients. It's like the Kardashian with O.J. Simpson. It's the same fucking concept where that guy is such a good fucking lawyer that he will convince everybody around that it is not exactly what it is, because these are rich white men of wealth. So and that's the only reason he got away with it.
He's going to face,
yes,
in a room full of people.
A room full of people deny that he is Patrick Bateman. Because everybody, his core group of friends knows he's Patrick Bateman. Yeah. That's the reality for me. The only reason the lawyer is like, you're so-and-so, is because that's the only way if it comes up in court, it's done.
I mean, he wouldn't have to do that because
there are a plethora of witnesses around.
He is anyway.
It's all a ploy.
They all look the same.
No, they all look the same because they are all of this wealthy, rich. But I honestly feel like that's the point.
That's the only reason why you think it's real?
No, it's just, that's it. It just shows that, like, these wealthy white men can get away with whatever the fuck they want because they have the money to do so. And that lawyer's so good at his job, he is deny, make up because it's believable and he's trusted.
Josh, you need to, as soon as we stop recording, need to go get on Reddit, post this theory out there because, like, I think it's actually a great theory. I don't agree with it.
Thank you.
But
backhanded.
I don't think that I've ever come across that interpretation to the end of American Psycho, and I think it's actually kind of genius.
Yes.
I don't think that's what's.
Shut up.
I don't think that's what they're going for, but I think it's very interesting.
It just, there was like a miniature clip that I saw where like this fucking bougie ass fucking YouTuber was like talking about like societal fucking differences in the American Psycho. I don't need all that shit. But I feel like if you look at Patrick Bateman and why he's doing what he does, it's because he's a fucked up rich white man.
Do you think he killed all the people or just Paul Allen?
All of them. So because the scene where the lady is in the house, she looks like she knew some shit happened in that apartment. She don't care because that's an upper apartment with a view of Central Park that she needs to fucking pawn off on somebody else. That scene right there, before the lawyer scene even happens, it's prior. It's like she's looking at him like, get the fuck out of here. Because she knows some crazy shit happened in that apartment. That's why the main paint and stuff were where? All the places he had killed. Everything that looked construction-wise was in all the places where shit was the worst. That closet where bodies were hung had crazy tarps and crazy amounts of paint. That's where those bodies were hung. There would have been crazy blood and crazy shit that needed to happen. If nothing had happened in that apartment, why the fuck would they have needed to paint that much? It was a pristine apartment with a view of Central Park.
Maybe they're just doing renovations.
No, you're looking at it boringly. I'm looking at it openly.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So the feed me stray cats.
I feel like some of the feed me stray cats and shooting of the random people, that might have been him just fully snapping. And so
he did kill those people or no?
Yeah, he killed the people, but the things that led up to why, like the cop shit, that might have been a little flex.
He like shoots a cop car until
it blows up.
That's a fucking bazooka.
He looks at the gun and he's like, goddamn. Yeah. He could have hit the gas tank perfectly and he's still like, whoa. But I feel like, but why would you put all that detail into these small things where it's like, if you look at Paul Allen's apartment prior to Patrick Bateman being in there, it was pristine. Why the fuck would they needed that much paint, tape, and tarps to fix this place? Because there was blood and shit everywhere. They don't care because they need to turn and burn that fucking $5,000 a month apartment to these white folk that are in the living room right now. They need to keep that shit on the hush hush because the lawyers already got it. That shit's covered. Patrick Bateman's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. That'll be fine. I feel like that's exactly what this is. It shows that these upper class people can get away with whatever and it's not just Patrick Bateman. It's the realtor. It's the lawyer. It's everyone that's involved that get what they want from people that don't know any better.
Okay. You do make very valid points.
I can. And that's how I looked at this movie because I heard that one little thing that one time from that one little bitch on YouTube. It's not a female. It's just, I'm just saying. But it clicked in my head. So when I watched it this time, I was like, hold on. What's happening?
I mean, those are very, I also disagree, but they are very good points.
You know, I feel like I talk to walls a lot of times, and I talk to myself enough to get through life. But like, just come on, guys. Can one of you agree with me?
Listen,
No.
I will agree with you to the extent of saying it's a very good point.
It is.
Thank
But
you.
I don't think that's what's happening.
No.
But it's the beauty. It's the beauty of the movie.
And it's the beauty of
begin-
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's written intentionally so that
For these conversations.
so that you can say that.
Yeah.
Which
I
means
agree.
whoever filmed this, whoever directed this, and the author of this story did a phenomenal job because 3 horror-loving fans can sit here, 2 of which agree, and 1 of which is just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs like Patrick Bateman over here, just living their best lives.
It's not that crazy.
I feel like
I just don't think with how a lot of people who are also higher up, how they perceive him, he's capable of these. I feel like it's in his mind a reaction to how he's seen and how he's treated. Everyone thinks he's a pussy and has no backbone.
But you know who doesn't? The detective. The detective has been questioning him since day one. But he also probably realizes, fuck, this guy's a rich white dude in Wall Street. I don't stand a chance.
And he also,
But I will try to
worked
make
with
him
Paul
as
Allen.
uncomfortable as possible to try to get him to confess, but he was never able to.
So let me ask you this: the last time they talk, he goes over that night,
Yeah.
the alibi, pretty much,
Yeah.
and where they were.
Yeah.
According to him, he tells him, "You were with everyone else, and not Paul Allen."
Yeah.
The guy who they said they saw Paul Allen with,
Yeah.
is the guy he was calling his name.
Yeah.
So people who knew Patrick Bateman,
Yep.
said they were with him,
Yep.
but he wasn't there.
He doesn't remember being there. He had mixed up his nights.
His so-called friends say he was there with them.
Yeah.
He wasn't there.
Nope. It plays into my theory. They're all covering for him because he is a rich white man.
Also, they're all coked out of their minds, so who
Yeah.
knows what they actually remember.
But the thing is that scene right there solidified the fact that William Dafoe's character, the detective, didn't stand a chance at ever closing the case against him. He now has a solid alibi. Regardless of him knowing about it or not, it proves my theory that everybody else just wants this shit to go away so they can continue their lives of richness and just freedom.
Until he starts it again in a week.
Okay, they'll cover that shit up. They covered up 20 murders, according to Bateman himself.
He had fucking helicopters on him.
Yeah, because he shot at some cops. He got
So
away with
he
it.
somehow left that building,
Yeah.
room he was in, went to his room, took a shower, everything's died down all of a sudden.
Yeah. It's in the upper west side. It's in the upper, 80s, whatever that shit means in New York. They only look for so long. That shit was in the Bronx. They're on there fucking 24 hours, 7 days a week, looking for the motherfuckers that did that. This is in the upper. This is in the high 80s streets, bro.
I just
And it
don't-
plays into when William Dafoe reacts to the address that he gave him. He was like, oh, that shit is nice. He's like, yeah, it is. There's like little bit of Easter eggs throughout this movie that play into my theory. The
fact-
entire movie.
So when he had his assistant there and didn't kill her,
Yeah.
that's just the one person he just didn't want to kill for whatever reason.
Well, he needs them to be super into it.
In my mind, this is the one person who is the most like tethered to his actual reality
Other than his friend group.
as far as like killing them type
Oh,
of thing.
yeah.
The only person who in his mind, in his heart, did not want to hurt, so she could just let go. Everyone else is prostitutes, people he doesn't like,
Yeah.
randos.
Yeah.
One
That's
person who he knows is connected to is perfectly fine
It shows his little bit of sanity that he has left.
in his mind.
Yeah. No, in reality, because he didn't kill her. She went to his house. That's a fact. And she lived.
So
He only kills the people he doesn't give a shit about.
Well, he kills Paul.
He didn't give a shit about Paul. Paul was his op.
but
Paul was the opposition.
But Paul can still link him. Like he has like a professional
Yeah, but that's
link
pure.
to him.
But that's pure rage at that point.
as far
That
as,
is pure rage. That's pure jealousy at that point.
as far as people important to that business, I feel like Paul's higher than him.
Yeah, but they realized that if what Patrick is saying is true, you don't want to get on that list of motherfuckers that he don't like. So they're like, yeah, no, he was with us. It makes sense because, like, Paul Allen, all he did was be better. That's it. He never technically crossed Patrick Bateman ever.
Wait, are you saying that his friends, his circle of friends, are not turning him in because
They're aware of the situation.
They're
Yeah,
scared of getting murdered by
yeah,
him?
they're aware of the situation.
Well, that would be a great reason to turn him in, wouldn't it? Like,
no.
because I like the idea better that they are not turning him in because it'll derail their lives because they'll be guilty by association.
Yeah, because they also said that he was with them when he wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could be the case. That's the one loophole that I fucked up on. But the rest of my theory is solid as fuck.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's solid.
You guys got me in the last little bit there. You got me in the 9th round, but I'm going to come out victorious in the 10th. All right?
I think it's a great theory.
It is a great theory. Yeah.
It's crazy to me, though, because, like, you can legitimately watch this. You know, I'm lower class. I'm not upper class. I am in that Poe bracket. So I'll never get away with this shit. So I have to look at it from that perspective of, yeah, this is not my reality.
Something funny that I think they only do it once in the movie, but they do it several times in the book where they're like stuck in traffic and he thinks that the car next to them it's a Donald Trump's car.
He says that when he's driving around.
But in the book, like, he is absolutely obsessed with Trump. And the book was released in like 1991, I think.
Yeah.
And like, it's crazy that's like the book is a reaction to like Reaganomics and kind of capitalism.
He's also in the movie.
Amok. And then, you know, what, 16 years or 26 years after it, we obviously haven't learned our lessons and just put the object of Patrick Bateman's obsession literally at the helm of power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it continues.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It shows that, like, there's a lot of differences between 24 years ago and now and perception and how, fuck the world can be.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the
Definitely,
nitty gritty right there.
Definitely a high note here.
Yeah. Great way to end the episode.
Do you guys have any more beer?
Let's all drink one for
I'm
the
very sad now.
the Batemans out there, you fucks. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this movie thoroughly. I do think it's cool that two podcast hosts and an author could have slightly differing opinions on the same content, which is super cool. Is there anything that we missed that you guys might want to mention about this here movie or book or anything like that before we get into our ratings of this?
No, I think we covered a lot. Again, great theory.
Thank you, sir.
That was very interesting. I've never heard of anybody take that approach for it.
Thank you.
I concur.
You concur?
I do.
You agree that I had some good theories?
Yeah, I do.
I think he agrees with the theory.
I do.
He does not. He does not agree. Let's go ahead and clear the air now. Jake never agrees with me.
Fuck that theory. So.
All right, so we'll start with our guest first, and then go to Jake, and then myself. On a scale from 1 to 10, Mr. CII Jones, what do you rate American Psycho from 2000?
This makes me nervous. This is the first time I've rated.
First time you've rated a movie, yeah.
on here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go like I said, I watch it like once a year.
Yeah.
I got to go like a solid 8 on this.
8, solid 8.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Jake, on a scale from 1 to 10, brother, where do you rate American Psycho from 2000?
On a scale from 1 to 10, I actually also would say an 8.
I love how you guys are just in full agreement over here, you two little cutie pies. I don't know why I'm even a part of this podcast sometimes.
What about you?
On a scale from 1 to 10, Josh,
4.8?
of the J Squared Horror Podcast would rate this movie an 8-2. Just to be differing from you guys. I rate it slightly higher
Just a
than
little
you.
better.
Just
I mean, with that theory, if you believe that, I would
It should be a
bump it up a
fucking
little
9,
bit, too.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I bumped it up 0.2. Shut up, Jake. Shut the fuck up.
Full 0.2.
You know what? Let's just fucking say it. I said an 8 when I watched this, when I finished this
There
movie
you
earlier.
go.
All three of us are in agreement on a rating, ladies and
Woo!
gentlemen. Give it up for the rating part of the episode. It's super exciting that we got to agree on the rating, but not necessarily the outcome of this movie, which means you can enjoy it no matter how you're looking at this movie. And if you're a woman, you probably shouldn't watch this because you might not get much enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
It is. Woo! It is definitely 80s New York City. And it is it's an intriguing watch.
But if you want an 80s horror movie set in New York City,
Nah, shut up.
you
dude.
always got
Shut up.
1989.
Shut up.
Jason Takes Manhattan.
No, that movie's trash and it belongs in the garbage pile.
I've never seen it.
Good.
Oh, you gotta
Because
check it
you
out.
shouldn't have to waste your
Check
time
it
on
out.
that movie. Jesus, Jake. You just had to.
Any chance I get, yeah. I will.
I mean, I
plug
love
that
you
movie.
for it, but
I'll plug anytime I can. I'll
Hey.
put it in there.
You love what you love, you know.
You mentioned the 80s in New York City. I'm going to mention it. You mentioned just New York in general. I'll mention it. You mentioned Jason. I'll mention it.
Is it the best movie that's ever taken place in the city of New York?
100% there is, yeah.
oh my God, he's so dumb.
I feel like that's like the most filmed city in all of
It's
cinema.
literally.
And this is number one.
I'm pretty sure when Harry Met Sally was filmed in New York, and that movie's way
Actually,
better.
okay. Number 2. One is Ghostbusters.
Okay.
I'm okay with
you know
that.
what? I'll take that.
I'll
We'll-
take that over.
We'll take that over. Jason Takes
All
Manhattan
right.
all day. Well, Mr. Jones, is there anything else you want to let our fans know for your upcoming plans or author stuff?
The next like event that I am doing is Scares the Care. That's not until March.
Where's it at? We're still in Williamsburg?
Yeah. Williamsburg. It's the AuthorCon, so it's not the
Yeah, that's all they do now.
Yeah, they don't do the celebs anymore. But if you read horror, come check that out. It's a few months out, but
Literally,
it's
guys,
huge.
if you want to support an amazing cause, it truly is. What they do is they use the money that they make from these conventions and from different fundraising events to help children and families in need with the love of all things horror. They've been doing this for a long time. We've actually tried to partner with them. It's super tricky to get in there. But if you can, buy tickets, go check out AuthorCon. If you like horror authors, if you like anything spooky and crazy, they also have other vendors there. But you are supporting an amazing cause just by buying a ticket. And then you can support amazing authors and amazing independent creators that are doing things and also supporting this amazing cause. So if you can, make sure to check out AuthorCon from Scares That Cares. You can see CII Jones himself. We may go up there just as people, so you might be able to bump into us too.
That'd be cool.
That's not the important thing. The important thing is helping out families in need, helping out kids in need, and also supporting content creators and authors that are still fighting the fight against all technology and putting out amazing books and different media for you guys to enjoy in the horror community. So please, 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 please buy tickets and go support that. CII Jones, we love having you on the show, man. It is super exciting that you brought in 2024 with the J Squared Horror Podcast with American Psycho, which is obviously a humongous horror movie in the horror realm. And thank you so much, man. I appreciate you so fucking much.
It's always a blast coming on.
I like that you were able to bring in some of the book and then also kind of, fuck with my theory a little bit. That was cool.
Oh yeah.
I also.
I was
With
getting
that
there,
theory.
motherfucker.
Well,
if you
get
let
there.
me finish.
Fucking get there.
Obviously, I got to treat our fucking guests with a little bit more love today. But I'm pretty sure every week I thank you for being my co-host, and only 3 times have you thanked me for being
All right,
the host
thank
of
you.
the podcast.
I appreciate
So,
that. Yeah, you're welcome.
Jake, thank you for slightly agreeing with my theory as well,
So I
but
got
being
slightly okay, that's
for
fine.
being a bitch and not agreeing with your host and your best fucking friend, being that I used sound theory and thought to get through this. Unlike last week, I'll give you guys last week.
I was about to say,
last week was rough because I didn't even watch that movie for
True.
what it was.
You didn't.
I'll take that L.
Good.
And based on the fact that
deserve it.
his Facebook post was the thing that created me to want to cover this movie, and he sat here humbly and didn't say shit yet, that's cool with me.
What'd you give it?
He gave
Huh?
it a
What'd you give?
7.5.
7.5.
That's exactly what it should be.
Yeah.
That should not be. You two,
Definitely not.
you know what? You two should
Definitely-
just create the CJ fucking horror podcast and leave me the fuck out of it.
That
Because it's
just
a
doesn't-
4-8 all day. That movie was trash. The plot holes in that movie are as big as the Grand Canyon. Hey, guys. I just want to say a humongous shout out to our main supporters, Jeff Balance. He does our design work. If you are at all in need of graphic design work, as you see on our sign above our heads, any merchandise of J Squared that we wear, any stickers that you guys get from us, that is all Jeff Balance. Caleb knows what it's like working with Jeff Balance. If you guys need any graphic design needs, please, please, please hit us up. We will send you his contact information, and he'll usually work out a good price for you. What I'd also like to mention is Lucky Riggs. He did our intro and our outro music. If you stick around for the outro music, it is super cool with this episode because it is his own rendition of the J Squared Horror Hip to Be Squared song. And it's a lot of fun. It's super exciting. It's super cool. A humongous shout out to Jake, being the world's greatest co-host a guy could ask for. Thank you so much for being a part of the podcast, buddy. I love you, and I appreciate all your theories and your ratings, and you're great.
Ditto.
Fucking ditto.
Also, shout out to Huey Lewis and the News.
Huey Lewis in the news, ladies and gentlemen, because he has some of the greatest music out there. Hey, this is our little rendition of it
There
right
you go.
here. Hey, that's a great song.
I agree.
That's a great song. Huey Lewis needed it better, but hey, Lucky Riggs is pretty
Yeah.
fucking good.
He is
He made
good.
it rock and roll.
We're thinking of you, Huey.
We're thinking of you, Huey. And
Yeah,
your
man.
Ears.
Yeah, poor guy.
R.I.p. ears.
R.I.P. years.
Maybe you
I'm
should
just
have.
trying my best to end this on a down note. I'm sorry, guys. No, it's seriously
Oh,
a
that's
joy to
fucking
be
great.
here. I should not do that.
No. CII Jones, thank you so much. Guys, don't forget www.ciijones.com. You can go get any of his books. Don't forget www.jsquaredhorrorpodcast. If you want to be a part of the podcast or be on the podcast, you can go to our website and let us know. This is the J Squared Horror Podcast. My name's Josh.
And I'm Jake.
This is CII Jones. You guys have a great week. And remember, it's hip to be squared.